and I like got closer.
Hello, everybody.
What was the things that you loved about film that you still like call on today?
I didn't.
You didn't?
The first time and I've been saying this everywhere, the first time I fell in love with filmmaking.
This is why, when I saw Jazzman Blues, I saw what Tyler just said. I saw what he meant. This movie was one of the most beautiful films I have ever seen. It's a beautiful art house film. And I thought, my God, Tyler
Is that the
just...
guy who did Medea? No, that's not Heller, is it?
Well, so I will say that for me, the storytelling always comes ahead of anything else. So even if I get tripped up on things that I don't like or things that aren't moving the way I want to move, I love storytelling so much that I just power through and figure it out and get it done.
Yeah. Well, they often say the things that make you uncomfortable are the things you're going to have growth in. So.
Always, because the lessons are always in the valley.
Mm-hmm.
The lessons are never on the mountaintop, ever. So every lesson I have learned has always been in a valley moment. It always has been in a difficult moment where I grow, where I become a better person, where I learn how to pivot, where I learn how to accept what is, and then change from what is, but acceptance in a challenge. And so, yeah. Okay.
I think early on, what I liked most about filmmaking was that it's a collaborative art. That it's not something that you do by yourself. And I think what I love about producing is, I heard Ava DuVernay say, if your dream is only for yourself, then it's not big enough. And I like that when I am acting as a producer, as a director, I'm not just chasing my own excellence, I am working to create an environment where lots of people get to do what they love and to try to do it really well. I think that's one of the reasons why Tyler is so extraordinary, because he has had this incredible personal success, but he has also, if you've been to Tyler Perry Studios, if you've ever been on a set of Tyler's, you know he's created an actual ecosystem where millions of people are chasing their dreams and reaching for excellence in ways that they may not have otherwise been able to. So
yeah. No, I've for one quick moment, I was there when you opened
to get on with Lena before filming. Because part of what he wanted, we talked together about making sure that all of the young actresses especially were aware that ladies carried themselves differently in the 1940s. You know, that overly used word of this year, demure. There was that about them. And so we worked a lot with movement. Debbie Allen was brought on, which is incredible to work with her. She's such an icon. And Tyler, if you don't mind me sharing, he saw early footage of the women marching, their perfect formation and all of the movement, and his brilliant brain as a director said, oh, we need a choreographer for this. And so she came in and not just choreographed the dance, but also all the marching and the formation work. But she also really helped us with our body language to be women of the time, and then also layering on top of that being soldiers. So we worked with Debbie and also military consultants. And then specifically for Charity Adams, I did not have the honor of meeting her, although the brilliant, beautiful Ebony, how gorgeous is Ebony in the film? She plays Lena. And she did get to spend time with Miss Lena. But I was really lucky that Charity Adams did write a memoir. It's called A Woman's Army, and I just devoured it a couple of times. And then I used to have passages highlighted and hanging in my dressing room, and I had pictures of her, and I watched archival footage, and I talked to people who knew her. One of the surviving members at the time, Ms. Romay Davis, actually was her driver, so I got to talk about what it was like to be with her all day long, every day. And I listened to old interviews. I just really tried to drop myself into everything I could about her, because one of the things that Tyler and I talked about was I have been really lucky to play some iconic characters, and I've been really lucky to be the kind of actor where people feel like they know me. But it would feel disrespectful to the legacy of Charity Adams if when people are watching this film, they are thinking even for a second about Kerry Washington or Olivia Pope or Brunhilde von Schaff, right? Like, these women deserve their own movie, their own story, their own epic tale. And so we wanted to make sure that, and with Tyler's help, that I was able to drop into a kind of performance that I've never done before and become somebody that I've never been before. So watching old footage of her, listening to interviews really helped with that. And just asking myself, like, if I were facing the levels of responsibility and pressure and command that she was under, where would that live in my body? What would it sound like? How would it walk in the world? So those are kind of some of the inspirations.
And how good was it to tell him over my dead body?
So listen, I want to tell you that in this film, it's like Tyler says 90% accurate. I would say like 95, 97% accurate. A lot of it came from conversations with Miss Lena and her perfect recall, and a lot of it is in Charity Adams' memoir. That's real. She really did that. She said that at 26 years old, by the way. I keep saying, at 26, I didn't have command over myself, never mind 855 women. She actually said to her superior officer, over my dead body. And the way he threatens in the film to court-martial her, in real life she was court-martialed. But because, as she says in the scene with the chaplain, which also happened, they really sent a chaplain to spy on these women, racist-ass chaplain, that they, you know, as she says to him, I know all these laws and rules inside and out. So that is what actually allowed her to win her case. And so even though she was court-martialed, she did not have to leave the army. She kept her position, her status. She even went on to earn multiple degrees on the GI Bill. I mean, she was brilliant.
Ambassador Nicole, talk to us about the magic of collaborating, because you've got directors here. What is the key in collaborating on a film of this magnitude?
Well, for me, this collaboration right here, I mean, I knew Kerry from the beginning. I mean, she was our first choice, and I'm not just saying that. It's true. I have the text. It was.
I was like, show me the receipts.
I don't know if I was your first.
Yeah.
You were the first, and first and only. I said, I really do believe that this Kerry Washington should play Major Charity Adams. There was no question about it. But for me, collaboration on this film was extra special than anything I've ever done, because this, yes, there are many great directors out there, but this one had to be a director who was spiritually and morally focused and grounded.
Time, she was very resistant. And so this journalist said, you know, on the off chance, I'm going to go look at the names and see if she's there. And she was. She found her great aunt's name. She burst into tears on the carpet because it was like the film was giving her family their legacy, their truth, giving them some honor, that the whole family could shake off the shame, that they didn't even know why the great aunt had been filled with shame and not wanting to talk about it, but now they understood what a hero she was. It was so powerful.
I know we're talking a lot about the women, as we should, but I want to nerd out for a moment about the command post and the building of it and the beauty salon. And now that I know about the trunk, like, so where did you film?
And that beauty salon actually happened.
Oh, it did?
Happened.
Okay.
Yes,
They built that.
they actually built everything you see there. That actually happened. We filmed at my studio for a lot of the interiors, and then we went
Say
to
that again. You filmed at my studio.
Okay, we filmed at Salisbury Studios, which was once a Confederate Army base.
Wow, I didn't
Talk
know
about
that.
spirituality.
Yes, so
You know,
on that.
Reclaimed that land.
Yeah.
Transmute the energy.
Yes,
Transmute things.
Yes, that 330 acres. On that same, it's on the same ground that that there were Confederate soldiers. We took that same ground, that same parade field, all of that stuff, and rededicated it and honored it, used it to honor these women. So that feels amazing. Yeah, but it was. We filmed there. We filmed in Europe. I was about to say we filmed here in Europe because we just got back. I'm jet lagged. Don't know where I am. But it was what was so insane. And again, all these Godwins. The actual school we found right outside of Atlanta was a direct. I mean, it looks like it was a duplicate of where they were actually sorting the mail, the King Edward School, and my set designers and wardrobe people. I went to the best of the best because we had just done Jazzman. I said, guys, I need this to be dead on perfect so that we can honor these women.
And this question for anyone to take. There are so many good lines in the film. That's the key to your writing, Tyler. But I love when Major Adams says, "Our war begins with being Negro." These women were fighting as American citizens who didn't have a right to vote. I don't know if you guys know that the full right to vote for black women didn't come to 1965 with the Voting Rights Act. But they were dedicated soldiers. What do you all think fueled their patriotism?
I know that I think since the beginning, since we arrived here, that we were always dedicated. It wasn't like it just showed up. We are dedicated, we are determined, we are a focused people, we are an excellence people. I don't think any of this black excellence talk just started 10 years ago. This idea that it just started. We're all standing on all their shoulders. What are we talking about? We have historically black colleges and universities that were thank you. I mean, 1800 this, 1910 this, 1930. We didn't have any rights. We didn't have a right to vote. We didn't have a right to buy a house. We didn't have a right to. We didn't have any rights, but we had high standards, and we marched through and pushed through and gave America the best architects, the best scientists, the best doctors, the best everything. And we built this. We helped build this country, and this idea that it just showed up. No, we are standing on the shoulders of excellence. We are not the creators of black excellence. We're all sitting here on this stage. We're all sitting here in this room because people of all colors, of all faiths, decided to fight and be patriotic so that we could be here. This was their dream, and we're actually living it. So we should just say thank you very much.
I tell you what I love. Sometimes I talk to Nicole, and this is just her life. Like she doesn't even know she's saying it, but she's like, yeah, I was talking to my godfather Quincy Jones, and he had just written this song. He's talking to Gershwin that said something to him, and I was on tour with Michael Jackson, and I'm just like, Nicole, what are you saying? Her life has been, her life is a movie. It's incredible. So I'm just honored to be sitting here next to you.
Well, thank you. But I just, again, just as now that you said that, the idea, because we've talked about this, when I make films, as you asked earlier, the reason I made the Black Godfather on my father, Clarence Avant, it's based, thank you.
You made it.
It's on Netflix.
It is based on my father, yes, he's the entree, but the real reason I made that film was to celebrate Ambassador Andrew Young, and to celebrate Hank Aaron, and to celebrate Bill Withers, and to celebrate the movie was about black excellence, and the movie was really to inspire people to say, listen, everyone was coming against something so horrible, all of them, in different ways. In the film, you see Andrew Young being pummeled and pummeled and pummeled, but he rose to the occasion, worked with Dr. King, and again, we're sitting here because of him. And then you have Hank Aaron, he's fighting against, he's breaking Babe Ruth's record. But not without a challenge, not without threats, not without, we're gonna kill your family and destroy your children. But they still showed up. And so when I received this sizzle reel for this, I thought, oh my gosh, this falls right into the rhythm of why I want to tell these stories. Same thing with Trees of Peace. It's people who overcome, people who have the worst adversities and still say, I am going to create a better life for other people, even if I don't get to witness it. People deserve that. And that's what I respect about human nature. That's what I respect about human beings. And that is why I think the 6888, these women, that's who they were. That's what they marched for. That's what they went over to Europe for. That's why they were so dedicated and devoted and excellent. This is why I made the movie.
So before we wrap up, please tell us, we can all, I think the movie's in theaters, some theaters, select cities. It's coming on Netflix.
December 20th, Friday.
So besides supporting the film that way, what else can we do to continue honoring these women's lives?
For me, I think that if you lift up somebody else, if you're living the best life you can, if you're not getting bogged down and tied down in the day-to-day, because the racism that these women faced was very different than racism today, because there were no laws to protect them. They had nowhere to go to fight. So we have way better options, even though there are a lot of the crazy things going on in this country, still one of the greatest countries in the world to live in. So I would encourage everybody to, if you pass something forward, pass something on, pass on some, even if it's just a little bit of kindness, you've done something to honor these women, because I'm telling you, they're all smiling watching this movie right now. They all are. So I'm grateful to that, and I appreciate you very much for asking that.
I would agree. I would say that all of us should hopefully stay focused on and remembering that we all, no matter what color you are, by the way, if you're male or female, black or white, anything, all of us are standing on shoulders that really sacrificed and really went through things and went to war for us to have the freedoms that we have. And freedom is not free. It is, people have sacrificed and they died and they've become uncomfortable and unhoused, everything. And so for us to just do the next right thing and be decent people and know that that people died for us to be here, that's enough for us to move through and live our thank you. That's why I always say I try to live my thank you by being the best version of myself that I can be. Not the most perfect version, the best version.
And Kerry, to end with you. Why? Why do I have to follow now? Terrible. You're the major.
She's major. Well, I can't stop thinking about your question about why they participated so fiercely in a system that did not uphold their rights. And I think that Black women have always done the heavy lifting of moving us toward a more perfect union. And I think that statement that none of us are free until all of us is free is so true. That we the people should mean all the people, and that Black women are consistently and continually fighting that fight. So first of all, I don't want to underestimate. I know you kind of breezed through it and said like, oh, it's in theaters, it'll be on Netflix on the 20th, but I mean, like, support of this film is vital. Yeah. That if we want to continue to see these kinds of stories being made, we have to show up to support these films. So each of you can be a satellite to carry the message, to encourage your friends and family members to watch the film, to post about the film, to talk about the film, to use the film as an opportunity to create conversation and build community. This film doesn't have to just be a movie, it can be a movement, but that's not in our hands, that's in yours. And then I do think that idea of, they both said it so beautifully, but you know, we keep saying that these women are such heroes, and they are. They are also examples of how to reach for the best of yourself, no matter how underestimated you are, how doubted you are, or how much doubt you have on the inside, because you see that in the film also, that sometimes these systems, when they tell you you're not good enough, you start to think, maybe I'm not good enough. But they didn't fall victim to those voices within themselves, and they didn't fall victim to the systems outside of themselves. They showed up for their mission. They achieved their mission in excellence and in grace. And so, you know, show up for these women by supporting the film, and then show up for the mission of your life, whatever that looks like. It's probably not male. It's probably something different. But you have an opportunity to be your best self and use them as an example to walk toward that, to march toward that.
Great. Thank you. Thank you.
The 6 triple
I would think, yeah.
The 6 triple H.
We're going to ask the audience to please stay seated while our esteemed panelists.
I love the security guys.
That's how they count on Instagram. You can follow the film on Instagram if there's an account.
I'm glad you came to this. I don't use Instagram. No, I was just saying I don't use Instagram. But yeah, I'm glad I came to. No, the cap ruined doing the shot.